speaker. Because I want to show you. Okay, so let me send the link to the Charlie. Forget it. Try a holiday. So I'm assuming a person. This is from here. Yeah. So let's start a new project. So is this a new project? I think I started a new project at that time. Yes. I thought that we had class yesterday. So yesterday I went to sit down, started a new project. I was about to send you the link and I realized that it was Wednesday because I haven't seen light in a very long time. So I didn't even know which day it was. Oh my God. The
Yeah.
things we do.
You were on
So
your study table.
was it Charlie? Your boy was on the grind. Mm, Anyway, back to this place. So the first thing we are going to do today is we are going to learn about SQLite. Okay, so SQLite is a serverless, lightweight database that is open sourced and it is also a relational database management system. It is widely used in mobile applications, including Android apps, unlike traditional databases like MySQL or PostSQL. SQL does not require a server process. It operates directly within the app and stores data in a single file. This makes it ideal for mobile devices with limited resources. SQLite supports standard SQL syntax for creating, querying, managing relational databases, and making it easy to integrate with Android apps using the SQLite Open Helper class. In this project, SQLite is used to store user information such as the username, email, password securely within the app. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to create a username. Um, we are going to create an interface that has the username and password for a user. And then we are going to implement that code so that we can have the username and password talking to each other from the database. The person will register and then come and log in. And when he's done logging in, he will log in into the system. Is that okay? So that's the idea we want to do. The idea. And we are using SQLite because SQLite doesn't require a server. If I have to use MySQL, it means that my application has to be connected to a server somewhere. That means I have to do an API and connect and a whole lot of things. I don't want to do that. I just want to show you guys an easy way I can create a database on the person's device and store information there. If you want to do a small app for somebody that requires storing of information, you can do it with SQLite so that all the information is contained on the person's phone. The downside is because it's not connected to a server, if the person's phone gets missing, it means that the data is also what? Gone. It means that we can't do backup of server. It means that we can't go and hide information somewhere. It means that we can't send information to other places. Everything is contained within the app. Please, does that make sense? Please, does that make sense?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is the idea. Now, for our app, we are going to be using material design. Everything we have done so far, you realize we started with the constraint view where we had to drag, then we did the linear view where everything is linear. But now we are going to add material view to it and see how we can implement some beautiful frameworks and ideals in our design. To implement material, I'll do something we haven't done in our whole lesson. That is, I will go here and I'll go and look for the griddle. And then inside the griddle, I'll go and look for the dependencies. So here I have all my dependencies. And I'm going to add the material design implementation into my dependencies. So I'm going to add it over here. Are we okay? 1 second, please. So, as I said, we will go into our Gradle. And then in here, we'll go and add our implement. Implementation. And then in here, I'll put the material UI dependency. So I'll put this material UI dependency over here. Again, the documenting which I'll give you after the class, it is inside. So there is no need for you to worry. It is already there. So when you're done, you would have to sync the library by clicking on sync now so that it will go and look for those dependency files and add them to the work in which you're doing. Now, the material UI design implementation files are for the design. They have nothing to do with the database. They have nothing to do with the database at all. They are just for my designing purposes. I want to use material UI design in what we are doing. So I want to add it so that you guys will have a feel of it. That's all. Well, I think I've made a mistake in typing. There should be no spaces over here. So let me just do this. Perfect. So now we can sync now. And then what will happen is, as I said, it will go download all the dependencies and everything, and then make sure everything is properly done for me. Wonderful. Now, let's come to our Java code. Whilst this is turning and doing what it is supposed to do, let's come to our Java code. And then inside our Java code, I'm going to create a file over there. So I'm in my Java code. I'm going to create a file inside the Java code. And I'm going to call the file I'm going to create inside my Java code. So I want a new Java class. And it is called database helper. Oh, sorry. I want to type where I shouldn't type. Oh, try again. So I want to create a new Java class. Oh, it's not this one. No. Sorry. Now try again. Try again. New Java. And then in here, I want database helper dot Java, but the Java is implicit. So once I click here, it will create a database helper file for me. And here I have database helper over here. Let's come over here and see what is wrong with this implementation thing. What is going on over here? So I'm supposed to implement this. Oh, it didn't bring the comma at the back here. So I think that is why it is making so much noise. Let's come back here. What is going on again? I don't think it has a semicolon at the end. Oh, okay. Let me see what is going on over here. Let me check the error and see. 1 second. I know it's not supposed to have a semicolon at the back, but I don't know why it is giving me an error over here. Okay, so I think because it is using this, it wants to be in quotes like this. Mm, It wants to be in quotes like this. And then we are having another error again. It's more of me doing a conflict. So if I make these things double quotes, because at first it was single quotes, I'm sure everything here is going to be fine. Let's see if I get an error again or not before we continue. Okay, voila. I didn't get any error, so I'm fine. So no error for me. Hello.
Yes, sir, we are here.
So now let's see if let's start again. Okay. So when you start the whole app, you would go to Gradle. In Gradle, you would go to build.gradle.kts into brackets module app. In here, you would put this code over here. Implement com.google.android.material.this. You put this code here in double quotes. So we are done with this one. Over here, you would come and right click, or when you're done, then you update. When you're done, you come here and come and click on this. Right click here, go to new and go to Java class. In Java class, you type database helper there, and then you would have created your Java class. Is that okay? So I'm here now. Now in here, I'm going to type a set of code that would allow me to, one, create a database, and number two, connect to the database. Now, the Java helper class is going to extend. That means it is a child of the SQLite open helper. I'm going to pass. Wonderful. So it's the SQLite open helper. Now, as you can see, I've started importing the SQLite open helper, and you can see here it is giving me an error because SQL open helper has certain values in which it requires. Has certain values in which it requires. So what are these values in which it requires? First of all, I have private. And we spoke about this in our class, which had to do with the Java. So it means it is only going to be seen by this. And why am I only saying that this should be seen by this? Because here it's going to contain the database name that I have. So whatever database name that I have given my application, this is what the database name is going to be. So this, I'm going to call it, let's say, user database.db. So that is the name of my database. Then here I have private again. I have static again. I have final again. I have string again. I'm going to be doing a few of these, so let me just copy it out. And then in here, I'm going to say this is going to be open to the column, the table name. And then the table name underscore name is equal to users. Wonderful. Now, I need to create the colon name. So this is going to be colon ID underscore ID colon underscore ID. And my first colon is going to be ID. Then I'll go to the next colon or column, sorry, the next column that is going to be equal to the person's username. Then the next one is going to be colon underscore email. And this is going to be equal to email. And then the next one is going to be colon underscore phone. And it is going to be equal to phone. And then the next thing is going to be string colon underscore password.
Oh,
Richard.
Richard,
Onya Kwalau. Oh, yeah, class, no catch you be so fat gel. Why is serious? It's equal to password. Okay. What happened? What is the mistake? Oh, yes, the strings are 2. Sorry. So here I have created the database name, the table name, and these are going to be the attributes for the table called what? Users. Okay. Now, in here, I'm going to create a public database into bracket context. Context. And then I'll have a body. Now, this context, I'll just press alternate and enter so that I can go and download the importation over here. You can see it is not there anymore. Now, in here, we'll have super, and then we'll have context, comma, and then we'll have the database name, comma, we'll have now, comma, and we'll have now, comma, and we'll have 1 here. So it means we have the context of where we are, we'll have the name of our database, we'll have our factory cursor, which will be now, and then we'll have our version of integer, which is going to be 1. So this is the version we are taking, the version of the SQL. So now we have created a super class. Remember, when we're doing, I gave our class, we said super means that in the parent class, there is a constructor over there, and this information is going there to that constructor. Okay, so in here, I have to create the onCreate. So here I have private, void, onCreate, into brackets, SQLITE database DB. Now, the onCreate is underlined because we have an onCreate in this. So I'll tell the computer that it should override the one that it has in the other one and then use this one. Oh, the onCreate has to be public because everybody should be able to use onCreate. So it's going to override the one in the SQL helper, and then it is going to use the one in which we have over here. Now, In here, I'm going to type in some code. And what code am I going to type in? I'm going to say string create table. And for our classes, we have done how we create a table. How we create a table is we'll type create keyword, then we'll type the word table. Then over here, we'll put the name of the table we want to create. In our case, we have put it in a variable at the top here, in which we called table name. Then we'll add another plus. And then, of course, if you want to create a table, this is the body you would have for creating a what? A table. Then in here, I'm going to tell the computer that we need to create the column ID. And then in creating the column ID, it is going to be an integer. It is going to be a primary key, and it is going to be auto increment. I'll bring a comma here, I'll bring a space here, and I'll bring a plus here. So you can see that I'm writing the SQL statement, but I'm putting the variables where they have to be, so that when I run it, it will go and execute and create the table for me. So in here, I go again. I'll say column name, just so that I'm clear, I'll do column underscore email. Let me add a plus here so that let me add a plus here. So column email, column phone number, column password. Okay, so all of them are going to be text fields. So here I'll have space, text. I'll put a comma over here and a plus over here. That means over here, I'll just have to do this and that. I don't need this, and I don't need that. Then here too, I'll do this, and then I am done. So I have created my SQL statement. So create table, we have done this in our SQL class. Create table, this is going to be integer primary key and auto increment. This is going to be a text, this is text, this is text. Remember, comma, 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 the last one, no comma. But what I've finished doing, I'll just say db dot execute SQL statement by creating a table for me. So it will go and take this and use it to create a table for me. So I've created a table for my database. Very interesting. So knowing how to write the SQL statements are very important, because now we are manipulating the SQL statements to get what we want. Over here, I'll add another override. So at override, which means that in the parent, there is also this piece of function in there already, which is public void, and then it is on upgrade into brackets. So when a person upgrades his software from one version to the other, right? What do we want to do? We would want to go to SQL DB. We would want to go for the int old version, and we have int new version. And what this will do is will make sure that once the person upgrades the software, the thing which will happen is that we want to execute a statement which would drop, that means delete the table, if it exists. That is, I'm deleting the entire table, plus And then the name of my table is table name. So again, you see that once you know how to write the SQL statements, here I'm writing them and they'll execute inside the database. That means that if I make a mistake with any of these SQL statements, they won't run. The error will not show on my screen here. And I don't have a database to go and check if there is an error over there. So, making sure my SQL statements are on point are is very, very important. The next thing is I want to write the SQL statement to insert a user into my database. So I have public Boolean insert user. So this statement here is going to help me to insert a user into my database. So I have this, comma, string email, comma, string phone, comma, string password. So I've created a function that will take the person's name, email, phone number, and password, and then insert these things into my database for me. And how do we insert something into a database? I would say SQLITE DB is equal to this dot get writable database, and then we are going to go content values will be equal to values, which should be equal to a new context values. Perfect. So the values are, we are going to put, wherever you see colon username, go and put the username. Wherever you see two values, dot put. So in here, wherever I see email, I'll go and put what's the email there. Values, put. Wherever I see phone number there, I'll go and put the phone number the person typed over there. Values dot put. Wherever I see the person's password there, I'll go and put the password the person typed over there. And then, of course, the person's results would be saved in a long integer. So long result is equal to the database dot insert, and I'm inserting into the table name this, and what am I inserting? No column hack. And finally, I want to insert the context values that are values. Perfect. So the context values will take the various database columns and insert so that the computer knows that, oh, I'm inserting this. These are the context values. So this, put this there, this, put this there, this, put this there, this, put this there, and it will do all of that for me. So I don't have to go and write the insert into, this will just do all of those things for me. Perfect. Now, once I'm done, I'll have to close the connection to my database, and I'll have to return results is not equal to 1. It's not equal to -1. Good. So it means everything is okay with my database. If it is equal to -1, then it is not okay. Now, Over here, I need to run another public Boolean. And this time, I'm going to check if a particular user is in the database. So string, email, comma, string, password, and then I have this. Now I need my database again. So I need this. I'm typing and can be real. I'm typing. So I need this. And then in here, I'm going to say SQLITE database DB. And this time I'm going to check something there. So I'm not going to write, that is well put, I'm going to read. So I'm going to just check. So it's equal to this dot read double database. And this time I'm going to use cursor. And here we'll have cursor. And it is equal to the database dot raw SQL. And I'm going to put my SQL statement over here to go and select the items from the database. So in here, I'm going to say select star from. Now I'm selecting from the table I created at the top, plus, and then I'll bring this and bring a space so that I'll have where, bring a space and bring a plus here. And then the column email. Plus, and then
Yes, sir.
yeah, and here is going to be equal to question mark. So select from email where this is equal to whatever that I'll put over here. I'll give a space, I'll bring a plus, and then the password is also equal to whatever in which I'll put over here. So now I'm going to bind the data to it. You see, so I'll have new string, and then inside the string array, I'm going to put the data that has to go into the spots in which I've put the question marks there. So there's going to be email, comma, and then there's going to be password. Great. Now, I'm going to close off my bracket. And then in here, again, the cursor will just bring the alternate and enter and import the properties for it so that we are free. Now in here, I'm going to say the following: int count is equal to cursor dot get count. So that if the database goes and gets a person and comes back and the person is more than one, then we can say that the person has been found. Okay, so here I'm going to just say cursor dot close. And then in here, I'm going to say db dot close. And then over here, I'm going to say return if the count is greater than 0. Very simple. So if the count is greater than 0, which would be a yes, it means that we have found a user. If the count is less than 0, then it means when we checked for you, we didn't find you, hence you are not a person using our system. The last thing we are going to do is check if the email of the user is an email that exists. So basically, we would have the same thing over here. So everything here will be the same. So here we have is email exists. And then in here, we will not need the password for anything. We are just going to have the email over here. And then in here, our SQL statement has to change. So we are going to select stuff from the table where email is equal to that. We do not need the one for the word password. So it means that everything for password up to this point here is going to what? Go away. So that here we will have new, and then in here we'll only put password over here. So that this will remain the same and this will remain the same idea. So if we check and your email is already in the system, this will tell me true. If it is not, to tell me false. So these are all the codes that I require to implement my system. Okay, now in here, I forgot to bring a quote over here, so I'll bring it. Over here, I brought a single quote instead of a double quote, so I'm going to just change that and make it a double quote because it is a string. So now I've sorted out all my errors over there. I think I have one more error somewhere. I have an error over here. So why do I have an error over here? What is it telling me? Incorrect operator between the two. Okay, that's fine. So here I have this, and then I have equal to, I have the plus there. It is the same thing which I did here, isn't it? So why are you giving me an error? So let me just close it off like this. And I'm still getting an error over there. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Let's see. So here we have from here to here, then we have from here to here, then we are from here to here. Then we have a plus then from here to here. So there shouldn't be any error. Did I do anything wrong there? I don't think I did anything. Is this something I'm not seeing? That's the only error I have. Let me see if I did something. So let me see. Um, mm, yeah, star this, star that, email, star that, star this, star that. Everything is fine. So I'm good to go. I have no error on this page. So now I'm done. The next thing I have to do is now start designing my app, making my app look fresh and nice. Now, logically, the main app, the first app, is where the user will come. So if I come to my design over here in my layout, here is where the user will come and then come and log in. So this is where the login would be. And then there has to be a place where the user will come and register. So it means that I have to go and click on the resources, go to new, go to activity, and go to empty views activity. And then in here, I'm going to type in the name called register, capital R, register. Beautiful. Then I can just click on what? Finish. And then in doing so, I have created the activity register. So I have my activity main and I have my activity register so that the user can go there and then register and do whatever he has to do if he doesn't have a username or a password. Now over here, I have to start writing my code for it. As I said, I would send you guys the design for them because using my time to do design would be a waste of our time. But over here, we are using the material design. So you can just paste the code for them over there and you can get the same effect. So here is the register page. And then over here, I have the login page. So again, I'm just going to remove everything and then just paste that code over there. So that over here, I have my nice login page. So I have done my 2 pages already. I'm done with them. Now I can focus on writing the code or the Java code behind them. I can finish writing the Java code behind the 2. So let's focus on writing the Java code behind the 2. In here, I'll start with the registration page. So I'll go to register. And then, of course, in register, I don't need this view compact thing here. So that'll have to go away. And so once that is away, I can start writing my code for this. And it's a set of things I'm about to do. Very, very important. Number one, I need to create a private database helper, DB helper. Let's call it DB helper. Okay. So this is going to help me do my database stuff. That's number one. Number two, in here, I'm going to start by saying DB helper should be equal to a new database helper. And then the context is this. So you can see that when we came into the database helper, and the database helper is what we created over here, we said that when you want to use database helper, you have to have a database helper constructor. And the database helper constructor takes context. The context is the activity. So you want to tell the computer what activity it should be focusing on which activity is all the activities taking place, for lack of a better word. So if I say this, that means that everything is taking place in the register page. That's all. So I've created this. Now I can say text input. Now I have to go for the information which I kept in the various boxes. So over here, where is it? Register, where is it? The register page. Let's go to this place. And then we can see we used text input here to take the information from the user because we are using material UI design. So we have to be abreast. That's what Google Pixel and things use for their design. So it makes sense we also use it and learn how to also use it. You can use the edit text and things, but it makes sense we also know how to use what is modern and what is being used out there, just in case one day you get a job, then you will know what to do. But to save me some time, the same things we'll do with edit text is what we'll do here. So in here, we'll just say text inputs username is equal to find element by id dot username. The same thing we did with edit text. Over here too, they don't call it button, they call it material button. Over here too, it's still text view, so we can still call it text view. And I'm just using alternate, and then I'll press enter to go and download the thing. We've done these things already, so I don't see why I should go and dwell on it or something like that. Now in here, I'm going to take the button, so the register button, and I'm going to say dot set on click listener. And then I'm just going to say new on click listener, and then I'll type in my code over here. There is something else in which I'm going to rush through. And again, it is in the PDF in which I'm going to send you. I want to just focus on writing of the Java code. So over here, I have username, email, phone number, and I've taken all of the information into the text input data type. But for me to use them, they must all be strings. That means I have to do string conversion and then put all of them into strings, like how Java is. So you can see that here, I'm just saying that where you see the username, go and put it in this string, in this string, in this string, in this string. So they are all strings so that I can use them. I haven't done anything different. It's the same thing we did when we're doing the BMI and all of those things. We'll have to take the value from the edit text and change it into a string. The same thing. At a certain point, you should start seeing patterns in the way you code. They are the same things. So you'll see that once you start coding more and more, you would have a library so that if you have to do work for someone, you don't always start from scratch. You just use your library and then just implement. And another reason why we did it this way is because if I want to change this and create another table, it means I'll just have to just change the name here and then the fields here, and I've just created other tables in which I want to use that stuff. So it makes life easier for me. So, and then it is in the convention. You want to do everything in one location. You don't want to be coding in different locations. It's not very professional. So let's continue over here. In here, I want to check if, and what am I checking? The user is empty, or or if the email is empty, or if the phone number is empty, then we can do something. Or, oh, I haven't even finished. I have to check if, or if the password is empty, or if the confirm password is also what? Empty. So if any of these things are empty, then we want to do something. We want to send an alert to the person. How do we send an alert in Java? Remember, we use the word toast. So I'll say toast dot make a toast, and then we have to give it the context where it has to make the toast from. The context from which the toast will be sent is the register activity. So in here, I'll just say register dot this. And then over here, I'll bring a comma so that I'm continuing. And here I'll say, please enter or please fill all fields. I'll bring a comma and I'll say toast dot length should be short. And remember, you can't have the toast showing if you don't add dot what show. So this would take care of if the person doesn't fill anything and presses the enter button. Okay. Now, I have to check if the password the person has entered is equal to the confirmation password. That is, when I'm here and the person is typing his username and password, he will type his password and come and type his password here again. I have to check if the two passwords they are typing are the same. I have to check and make sure the two passwords are the same. So how will I do that? I'll come in here and say if the password is equals the confirm password, then we should enter over here. Now, remember, we are only entering here if they are not the same. So I'll bring the not over here. So that if they are the same, it will say false and skip it. But if they are not the same, it will say true, then come in here. And again, we'll give out a toast. So I can just copy this. But the message we are giving out will be different, whereby we would tell the person that his passwords do not match. Beautiful. Now, I have to check if the person is following the email pattern. The email pattern that we can, like something, something at something, something, that whole pattern. So is he following the email pattern? So again, I'll say if the Android dot utility dot patterns dot email underscore address dot matches into brackets the email the person typed. Let's check if they are a match. Wonderful. Now again, here I'll just bring the cursor here, press alternate and enter. Oh, I didn't spell the Android correctly. It's this way. So here we have this. So now I'll bring the exclamation mark over here so that if this is not that, then we can enter here and tell the person that, hey, the password in which you are trying, the email you are trying to enter, they do not match. So when you go and make sure they match. So I'll just say invalid email. Okay. Now over here we say it is matches, not matches. Matches. Good. So my error also goes away over there. So I'm good. Now the next thing I have to check is, does your email exist? So if you already have an account with us, there's no need for you to come and create an account with us again. So over here I'll come if into bracket dp helper dot. Now, when I say DP helper, it means I'm coming in here in the class we created and I'm going to look for what is email exists. So in here, I'll say DP helper is email exists. And in here, I'll put the email the person typed. And if it says true, then it means the email exists. If it says false, then it depends that the person's email does not exist. It means that the person's email does not exist. So in here, I can tell the person um, email already registered. Perfect. Now, once I'm done with that, I can come here again and say if, because here at this point in time, I know that the email exists, everything is okay, everything is fine. Okay, but I have done an error over here, and I'll explain the error. You'll see that when I give this message, the computer will continue going. When I give the message, it means that the person shouldn't be able to continue going. Hence, I'll just say return. Over here too, I'll say return. Over here, I'll say return. So that once I show you the message, you can't continue doing anything because you haven't yet satisfied what you want to do. Beautiful. So you are going to what? Return. Now, if I'm in here, then I can say if my DB helper dot insert a user. And remember, if we want to insert a user, what do we need? We need the person's username. We need the person's email. We need the person's phone number. We need the person's password. So this will run. If it says true, it means we have uploaded our user successfully. So we can just give a message that the user has been added successfully. So registration successful. Now, if the registration is successful, then we have to tell the user that he can log in. So we will start an intent. So start intent. And then in here, we'll just say new intent. And then in here, we'll just say, take me from the registration page that I am in now and take me to the main activity page. And when you're done, return and do nothing else. Now, if this is not the case, then we will tell the user that he or she has to go and then try again because something went wrong. So it means there is the registration as what? Failed.
Okay.
The registration as what? Failed. Now, if the person goes to click on the link, because on our screen, we have a link. So all of this code here starts from here and ends here. And if the person goes to click on the login link, then we want to tell the user to set on click listener. And then in here, we want to tell the user that we should start an activity. And the activity we want to start is a new intent. And in here, we would put the registration page. And then we are going to the main activity page. And then when we are what? Finish. Good. That means you can't come back here. So now, all of this code is for our registration page. We are done with our registration page now. Now, you can see that when I get here, I will put value here, value here, value here, value here. I will leave here. I'll go to my database helper, and then the values will be taken by this. Then I will use them to do what I want to do. Look at how clean the code is. If someone takes your code and he says, oh, so what is the name of your table? How will he know? You are hiding your code. You are protecting your code. This is what we call coding. You have created a class, you are calling the class, you are implementing the class as an object. This is what coding is. This is how intermediate coding is. This is the proper coding. This is what we call coding. This is the joys of coding. This is the job of the senior programmer to create these things. And this is the job of the junior programmer to implement. This is the joys of us coding. This is what the coding is about. Now I have to write the code for the main activity. So this is my main activity. And my main activity code is quite simple. Again, I don't need this. In here, I'll tell the computer that there is going to be a private. And I'm invoking the database helper class. And it's going to call database DB helper. And then in here, I'm going to tell the computer that DB helper is equal to new database helper. And then the context is what? This. Beautiful. Now in here, I need to do the same thing I did over there, whereby over here, I have this design here. And this design, you can see I'm using material UI. So I have material inputs and things. So I need to go and take them. Again, you can use the edit text and all of these things. But again, we need to learn how to use frameworks and design frameworks because those things are needed in the things in which we do. So they are very important. We learn how to use the modern frameworks that are there. So in here, I'll just go and call them. There is no, again, you can use edit text and those things, but the names of them are text input edit and all of those things. So this is what they are. I'll just press alternate enter, and then it will just download them for me. And then over here to I have a text view, should be beautiful downloaded for me. Now, I'll go for the button again. The button is called login button. So here I'll just say login button dot set on click listener. And then in here, I'm going to type the code for my on-click listener. Again, to make life shorter for me, we will just go and convert all the text input edits into strings. So I'm going to convert all of them into strings. And there are only two things which are there. It is the email and the what? Password. Now, again, I have to check if the person has filled the email and password. So if you have taken the email and it is empty, or you have taken the password and it is empty, then we need to come here and tell you to fill all fields. Luckily for me, I told the person to do it over here. So I'll just copy this. I'll come back here and then I'll put the code in here so that I can tell the person that, hey, just go and fill it. And remember, I'm not in the register page. This time I'm in the main activity.this. So the context is that. Again, I'll come here. If I go to my DB helper, the DB helper is an object of the class called database helper. And remember, I am the one who created the class called database helper. I created it. I typed all the rules that govern it. I created it. So in here, I'm going to say dot, and you can see that when I press the dot, the things I can do with it shows up. What do I want to do with it? I want to check if the user is a user in my system. And what do I need to check? I need the person's email and I need the person's what? Password. Now, if this tells me true, it means that the person is a user in my system. Hence, I can say toast login successful, and then else I can say toast invalid email or password. So now, very important here, we are just giving a message to someone. Oh, you are successful. Oh, like that kind of a vibe. But at the end of the day, when the person is successful, we should be able to tell the person that he or she is successful. Like, welcome, you have come, something like that. So in here, we are going to make those changes. I'll click here. I'll go and right click on resources or RES. I'll go to new. I'll go to activity and I'll go to empty views activity. In here, I'm going to create an activity called welcome. Activity. And when I'm done, I'll click on what? Finish. I didn't bring a terminate here, so that's why the error is there. So I brought it so I have no error. Again, we are going to design this. And again, the designs are all XML designs, nothing complex, but you can do your own design. But again, I'm using the material UI to do the design. So here I have the material UI giving us a beautiful design. I'll leave here. I'll come back into my back and I have this. And then in here, I'm going to go into the code here. Just add some few codes in here so that my code looks a bit nicer. Looks a bit fresher. So I'm just going to do some code. I had nothing great. Just put in some code over here so that when the person comes in here, we'll give him a welcome message. Nothing important, nothing great. Again, these codes are all in your, there are things in which we have done already, so I don't see why I should go and then recite all of them all over again. There's no need. Mhm. So intent extra username here, animation for the activity translation. We have left to right. Why really details? Let it be there for now. Let it be there for now. We'll have to go to our main activity and make a change from here. So in here, the main activity, I'll just pick a change here and direct it at where it should go. Where should the user go? So in here, I'm going to say, if you are successful, we will tell you that you have logged in successful. And I want intent, and then it should be equal to new intent. And then in here, I'm going from the main activity dot this to the welcome activity. I'm going to welcome dot class. Now I want to put intent dot put extra. And here I want to put the username of the person. And here I want to add the username of the individual over here. Wonderful. Now, to make life easier for me, I'm just going to say string username, or let me say email. The username of the person is equal to the email of the person. Perfect. So that whatever the username of the person is, it will be put over here. So that I can now say start intent, that I can transfer the person's details to the page in which the person is going to. Very nice. Now, oh, sorry, over here it's not plus, it is comma. So this will be put into this. Good. So that when I log in, the person's information will show over there. Wonderful. Again, over here, I would say the register link dot set on click listener. And then I'll say new on click listener. Then in here, I'll just say start activity, new intent. And then in here, I'm leaving the main activity dot this, and I'm going to the register dot class. Good. Now over here, I'll just say finish. Done. Now, let me come to the welcome activity. Let me take this out for now. I don't want to apply any animations for now. So let me take it out. And then inside I've added a gradient for color. Just a nice color in my background. So let me go and then do the gradient. So in here, I'll right click on drawable. I'll go to new. What am I even adding? I'm adding a new file. Yeah, I'm adding a new file. Oh, okay, it's not a new file. Yeah, it's fine. Let me add a new file. I think if I add, okay, no, I'm adding a new drawable resource. And then here, let me type the name of my drawable resource as background underscore gradient. We have done this before. Background underscore gradient. And then I'll just press OK. So now I have my background gradient. And then instead of it being a selector, I'll make it a shape. And then put this shape over there so that I have a nice blue-black gradient. So that if I come into my design and I look at my designs now, it will look like this. My welcome will look like that. My this will look like this. And that will look like that. Perfect. So I have my code, everything is set. I have everything I need for my code. Now, I need to run it. So I click on the run button, and it is going to run in my emulator. So it's running. And for those who are wondering, yes, it comes with time. The more you do, you realize that the more things like this would come into your mind, the easier it is to assimilate, the easier it is to write your code. Mhm. Hey, it is still turning. And some move. Okay. Okay, it's coming up now. Hallelujah. Hello? Are you guys there? Yesterday, when I was there, I thought we had our class earlier. Oh no. I thought we had our class earlier. So um I recorded I drafted what I'll be teaching today, the dependencies, how to write the helper, the classes in there. I broke everything down step by step, and then everything is here. Everything is here. So um, I will send you this too, so that you would have access to all the codes. That once you are watching anything you don't see and you want to copy, you can just copy it out and then be free in terms of that. It is very important to me that you know how to do this, because no matter what you do, there will be a small system that you would have to do. There is a small system that you would have to do. And in your class page, you will see that I put a link over there or a document over there. None of you asked me, what is this document, or why did I put the document over there? So I'm assuming you know why I put the document over there. Did you know why? Did you know why? So when you go to, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
When you go to 37 and you go to um, they have something they call the, um, what's the name of that drink? There's a name given to that one. It's something clinic. It is the diabetic clinic. So it is for those of us who have diabetes. I have diabetes, so it means that there are certain things in this life in which I can't enjoy anymore. And for those of us who have that illness, unfortunately for us, it means that there is certain foodstuffs we can and cannot eat anymore. And so we are required to have a plan as to what we will eat. So you can see that I have a plan as to, in every day, I'm supposed to know my morning glucose level. I'm supposed to know my breakfast. I'm supposed to know after 2 hours what was my sugar levels. I'm supposed to know um, the quantity of food I have for lunch. I'm supposed to know after 2 hours what is my sugar level. I'm supposed to know what I ate in the evening, and I'm supposed to know my sugar level after that. And then at the end of the month, I can take this to the hospital, and then the doctors can moderate my insulin levels and know if I require insulin, I should be off insulin, or how to regulate my sugar levels. You can see that if my sugar level should be less than 8. That means if it is a 10, there is a problem. My sugar level should be less than 8. That means if it's 11, it's a problem. My sugar level should be less than 20. That means that if it's at 8, it is a problem. So all of these levels are there for me to check. I want you to start thinking of systems like this. So you can build a small system whereby when it is time for the person to eat, the system will notify him that it is time for you to eat. And then when he eats and it is time for him to check his levels, the system will notify you that it is time for you to check your levels. And when he enters and the level is lower, you can encourage the person, oh, good job. If it is higher, then you can send an alert that, hey, you need to check, you need to change your diet, things like that. Things that will promote someone's health. Things in which when you go and sell out, it will sell out. An app that you can put on Play Store so that people with this kind of illness can go and have and utilize and use day by day. It is time for you to think of the IT in terms of apps which will improve people's lives, apps which would bring a lot of people into your environment. And something like this will do that. And the reason why this is important is because today we did SQLITE. That means that you can now be able to record information into the database and keep the information you have recorded over there. Are there any questions, please? Are there any questions, please? All right.